What on earth has happened here? This is not how I expected to log into the Hermitcraft server. I seem to be at my campsite, but I seem to be surrounded by forest. The forest has claimed my base. Wait, it took me a long time. I didn't notice. I didn't actually notice the missing L. I thought someone was saying peace, love, and no plants, and I was like, I don't like that. But then I realised. Have they done both? No, okay, good. Because I use my ethically harvested glow squid ink on those signs, and honestly, it's quite difficult to come by. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any more. Glow squids don't voluntarily kill themselves very often, so, you know, I have to count my lucky charms there. Now, I'm going to pose the question, who on earth did this? Whilst knowing entirely who would have done this. It is 100% the guy who doesn't seem to be able to put backs on his builds. I mean, look at this. What's going on here? I mean, it looks great from the front, but this just won't do. So I say we do him a favor. I'm going to take the trees that is so graciously planted around my base, and I'm going to replant them because, you know, that's what I do, and I'm going to replant them at the back of his base. We're going to finish off the back of his base using trees. Wait a minute. Has he put... I was just wondering... Has he put one on top of my living roof? No, my living roof has actually remained unscathed. That's a missed opportunity, dude. So the many trees have now been removed. I now have a ton of wood, which I'm incredibly thankful for, and also a bunch of saplings. This is going to be more than enough to do what needs to be done. I just need a little bit of dirt. Here we go. Here we go. Saplings and bone meal. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness, the one that was next to the dirt actually grew, and it's probably grown ridiculously tall. Yes! Things are going well. Come on, grow. Yes! They're always absolutely massive ones when they're next to blocks. Now, I must admit, I am facing some bone meal shortages here, and I can't actually get any more. I don't even remember where I got these bones from, but regardless, they are coming in handy. Now, let's see. Has this worked? Yes! Yes, it has! This is a big improvement. I feel like we have definitely made it better. I have missed this little bit, though, so let's fill that in. And now I think my masterpiece is finished. And I gotta say, you know, from the front, it actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's certain bits that look out of place, but the leaves actually fit in with the kind of greenery that he has going on with the build. Where things start to go a little bit sideways is when you start to look at it from these sorts of angles. Oh man, this is so ridiculous. This is so stupid. It is a mess. It is an absolute mess. But you have to remember, he made a complete mess of my base, and I've just thought, I really hope this doesn't escalate past this point. Like, I hope we can end this tree battle now before it becomes a tree war, which I guess does bring me on to my signs. I mean, they could be a little bit aggressive. I saw you were struggling with the back of your base, as always. Is that too much? Is that too much? So I fixed it for you. Peace, love, and plants. The fact that I've added peace, love, and plants to the end with a love heart. There's a love heart in there. I feel like that should calm things down a tiny bit. One can only hope, because I only have a tiny base, so it can't take much more treeage. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. I think that's enough of that for Monday. So my plan of action for today's Hermitcraft episode, before it was thoroughly derailed, was to build an industrial carrot and potato farm making use of villagers. Now this isn't going to be happening on the top here. This is going to be almost like decoration for the much bigger and more industrial farm that's going to be underneath. But of course that much bigger and more industrial farm requires lots of space. And to create that space, of course, I have to swing my pickaxe around a lot. Wait, what? What? I was running away from that creeper and he just upped and climbed the ladder after me. What on earth? Turns out it's been a thing since 2011, so it really isn't that special, but I'm still shook. I tell you what else is shooking me. This hole here, it took an hour. 1 whole hour. What? Now that's not that long in the grand scheme of recording a Hermitcraft episode. You know, these things take many, many hours to record, but this, with a Haste 2 beacon, this is like a 5-minute job. What on earth has happened to the Boaten pole? The Boaten pole has become the Boaten hole. I gotta be real careful because, yeah, going down to the bottom there would not be fun. In terms of the design for this industrial potato farm, we're going to be using a pretty standard one that involves villagers. One villager on the inside of here who's a farmer. The other villager who is just a standard villager, and then the farmer tries to throw potatoes at the villager over there. Might just be the worst explanation of how the farm works ever. But the good news is that it's a reliable design, it works incredibly well, and each layer should produce about 700 potatoes per hour, I think, which would mean 1,400 potatoes in total. That seems actually like an awful lot. That seems like far more than I'm ever going to need. So hopefully I've got those statistics totally wrong and it produces less than that. But with that being said, I do have a solution for the oversupply, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. First, I need to work out how I actually want this thing to look, and I must admit, I'm liking this already. Yeah, I'm really liking the vibe of this. I want this to fit in a fairly similar theme to my tiny house, so it's going to be very planty, lots of flowers and lots of wood. And I would say this is a solid start. Yes, this is looking incredibly cool. So now that the whole structure is all constructed and ready to go, I think it's time that we actually start getting villagers into this thing, which gets a little bit scary, just because villagers have a real tendency to do absolutely ridiculous and stupid things, and we don't really have too many of them over in the village over there. So instead of risking it with our few remaining villagers, instead, I'm going to build up a
Our Lord Jesus Christ, I command you to give me your name.
And cut. Nice job, everybody. Good job.
I'm gonna take that.
Follow monitors, let me lead.
All right, everybody, here we go. 3, 2.
Time to go off script.
little villager breeder over there so that hopefully we can get a good supply. And this should be it. Like, if I get 2 villagers on top of this fence post, then they should start producing babies that will drop down into there. Now, obviously, this bit is the easy bit. The tricky bit is actually getting the villagers into this thing. It is always a nightmare. With that being said, is there already a villager breeder that I'm just totally unaware of? This definitely sounds like more than a few villagers. Okay, I think this is good. I guess this absolutely was not necessary, and I shall now remove it because it's very ugly. There is always something incredibly entertaining about transporting villagers by boat. I mean, he just looks so dissatisfied with what's going on. Oh, that's a problem. I mean, no wonder he's so dissatisfied with what's going on. I'm driving the boat, alright? And also, we're in a boat on land. Like, already, that's a frustrating situation. But then you've got a moron like me driving it. But actually, on the point of dissatisfaction, I should probably make sure that this guy's alright with what's going on. You know, I'm all about the peace, love, and plants. I need to consider this guy's feelings. So let's see. Did you like the village that you just came from? Okay. So, are you unhappy about leaving? That's good. And you totally don't mind being in my industrial potato farm for the rest of your life? Like, that doesn't bother you? Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Peace, love, and plants, baby. Peace, love, and plants. So villager 1 of 4 should be about to volunteer himself into this hole here. That is perfect. He should stay there now. Fantastic. I just need to get a few hopper mine carts in place in front of him, and that should give us a fully transparent item carrier thrower. So our villager that's in here should try throwing potatoes at this villager, but then they'll instantly be picked up by these hopper mine carts and make their way into our storage system. All the prep work has now been done for our second villager, and once this guy is in, this layer will then be fully operational and will start automatically farming potatoes, which of course is incredibly exciting. This seems to be good. He seems to have converted himself into being a farmer, which is fantastic. Everything is now in place. I guess when potatoes start growing, he should start harvesting them and doing his bit. He totally did not do that. So now I'm wondering if maybe I put him in slightly later in the day. Maybe it was past his working time, and that totally wasn't the case either. So after 3 hours of designing and testing in my creative mode testing world, I managed to get a design that was working, and then I came back onto the Hermitcraft server to find that actually it had been working the entire time that I was testing the system. That's the noise that I make when I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Right, well, my designs and my tests in the single-player world were completely pointless because this is fully functional and working incredibly well. So let's get the second layer constructed. Much less frustration later. All the villages are now in place and everything is all up and running. So we have got 2 layers of this rather industrial potato farm. And if we take a look down at the bottom, it is doing rather well. And that isn't including drops from the top layer. So this is just the bottom layer working while I've been building up the top layer. So we're going to have far more potatoes than I think I'll ever need. You know, in episode 1, when Green called me Potato Boy? Well, I think I might just be Potato Boy. We'll definitely be coming back to that.
I just want to let you know that I have waxed you.
You have waxed me?
First time's free.
This is good.
The greatness about my waxing service, Mumbo, is it's a surprise every time.
I don't know if that's what you want from a waxing service. I just checked my face to make sure we were talking about the same sort of waxing, because if you waxed off my mustache, I was about to be quite cheesed off.
Dude, your van is shining like it has never shined before.
Hang on a minute. What stage have you waxed my cover blocks in, dude?